Order. We will start with name, pronouns, and positions, starting here with Senate Seat 1.
Hey guys, I'm Xander, POC Senate Seat 1.
Hi guys, I'm Jess Fisher. I use any pronouns. I'm PFC Senate Seat 3 and PFC Vice Chair.
Hello, my name is May May. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm PFC Senate Seat 4.
I'm Logan Taylor. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm Senate Seat 5.
I'm Paper Soup. I use she, her pronouns.
Hey guys, my name is Bella Hopperhay. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm DFC Senate Seat 9.
Hi, I'm Olivia Heffernan. I use she, her pronouns, and I am PFC Senate Seat 10.
Hi, my name is Beto Liefa. She, her pronouns, and I'm Senate Seat 11.
Hello, my name is Zoe Jenkins Fox. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm Senate Seat 12.
Hello, my name is Tyler Chisholm, and
Hello, everyone. My name is Cole Stevenson. I use he, him pronouns. I'm Senate Seat 15.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rachel Withers. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm Senate Seat 16.
My name is Robin Bailey. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm Senate Seat 18, representing the School of Journalism and Communications.
Hi, I'm Kayla Fisher. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm academic seat 22.
I'm Absolutely. I use she, her pronouns, one of the ASUO.
Hi, my name is Erin Ludeman. I'm 20 and speaker, and I'm she.
My name is Quadrian Gill. I use he, him pronouns. I'm Senate Seat 7, and I'm a Senate Speaker.
Hello everyone, Jordan Ackman, he, him pronoun, ASUO Vice President.
And do we have a senator to read the land acknowledgement? Senator Chisholm.
The University of Oregon is located on Calabria, the traditional home of indigenous homelands of the Calabria. Following treaties between 1851 and 1855, the Calabria people were dispossessed of their indigenous homeland by the United States government and forcibly removed to the coast reservations in West Florida. Today, Calabria descendants are primarily citizens of the Confederated Tribes of the Grand Ronde and the Confederated Tribes of Siletz Indians, and they continue to make important contributions to their communities, to the UO, to the lands now known as Oregon, to the world. And following the Indigenous Protocol of acknowledging the original people of the land we occupy, we also extend our 9 federally recognized Indigenous nations of Oregon: the Burns Paiute Tribe, the Confederate Tribe of Indians, Lower Umpqua and Siuslaw Indians, the Confederated Tribes of the Grand Ronde, the Confederate Tribes of Siletz Indians, the Confederate Tribes of Pocatello Indian Reservation, the Confederate Tribes of Warm Springs, the Coquille Indian Tribe, the Cow Creek and the Umpqua Tribe of Indians, the Klamath Tribe, and the Kalama Tribes. We express our respect to many more tribes who have ancestral connections to this territory, the Indian Nation and the Fort McDermott Paiute and Shoshone tribes, as well as to all other displaced Indigenous people who call Oregon.
Thank you, Senator Chisholm. We'll now move to the approval of the agenda. Senator Fisher.
I move to approve the agenda.
Seconded Fisher.
Motion made by Fisher, seconded by Fisher. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. And the agenda is approved. Next, we will move into announcements. Do we have any senators or members of the public who wish to announce? We'll start with Senator Bailey. Senator Lucas.
Okay, hi. I mentioned this in my confirmation, but I was working on an event with a good friend, David Perucker, to bring Nathan J. Robinson to campus. And part of that, one of the events is going to happen at 12 p.m. on October 23rd, which is next Thursday. It's going to be in Fenton 110, and it's going to be partly an introduction to me as SOJC's new senator, but also like bringing something material to SOJC students in the form of a dialogue and a Q&A with Nathan J. Robinson. Some of the questions perhaps we will explore. How can journalists maintain integrity while meeting moments of local and global polarization? What does it take to build a news media company from scratch when public trust and communications is at its lowest? You can find out October 23rd, it's 12 p.m., Fenton 110. It's gonna be good. You'll
Senator Withers.
Hi, everybody. I did not add this to the agenda because it was last minute today. But last year, me, Erin, and another Senator, Bella Esbeck, worked on a Green New Deal for the University of Oregon with Climate Justice League people, Jack Dodson and Declan Supo. And I've been in communication with Declan. We want to bring that back because long story short, we spent a lot of time working on it last year and it did not pass because of a significant, but like literally like 1/100th of, it was a really long document, but it did not pass because the land acknowledgement we included in it was straight from the university's website, and Terry Garrity, the vice president, who signed it last year, did not find that super valid. But then that was in the fall, never came back officially. So we want to work on that again. So I was hoping to make the motion to start the working group for the Green New Deal for the University of Oregon. I guess that's my official motion.
Motion made by Senator Withers, seconded by Tiedemann. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. And the working group for a Green New Deal is formed.
Yay, message me if you want to be part of that. Oh, I think somebody else.
Awesome, thank you. And next is Senator Smith.
I don't know if I'm doing my math really wrong, but the surplus last time was 754 and now it's.
I had a miscommunication with SOFs, and this is the accurate.
Okay. Okay, great, I yield.
Senator Stevenson.
ASU and the South Asian Cultural Alliance are scheduling a meeting. We don't have a hard date for that, but I will let you all know when that happens. Thank you, I yield.
And Senator Fisher.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to let you know that our surplus committee meeting, hopefully the very last meeting before we have priorities to you guys, will be on Friday morning at 8 a.m. in the ASU suite. And I would love to have you all there because we're like finalizing the priorities before we send them out to vote. Well, for you to read and then to vote. And so I'd love to have your input before that happens. In response to surplus thing, we're working on it. It's fine. I'm meeting with Kay. Thank you, I yield.
Senator Withers.
Jess Fisher also worked on the document. I forgot about that part. I wanted to call it.
Senator Chisholm.
Is there an online option for the meeting at 8 a.m.?
There wasn't, but I'll make one for you.
All right, and that concludes the announcements for the day. Being a public forum, is there anybody from the public who wishes to speak? Yes, come on over.
Hello, everyone. My name is Evan Doms. I am a freshman here studying political science, and I'm currently interested in serving with you guys on the freshman seat on the Senate. I want to say I feel very honored here about all you all, and really curious. What brings me here is curiosity. Curious how ideas form into action and how that in turn affects students. And I think you guys do wonderful work, and I'd be honored to learn more about this. And I just feel really happy to be here. So thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to come up and introduce yourself. I'll definitely get information and let you know when the seat comes available for applications. And if that's everything for public forum, we'll now move to financial business. As of now, surplus is at $593,083. Unallocated reserves at $40,092. And if we accepted everything today for surplus requests, we would spend $29,835. Then we will start with our transfer request, starting with Chinese Bajang. Do we have a representative from Chinese Bajang? Bajang. All right, and we will move forward with the inquiry.
I move to table the request from Chinese Bajang.
Motion made by Fisher, seconded by Stevenson. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say nay. And request is tabled. Then moving into surplus requests, we have the lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, queer alliance.
Hello?
Hello, yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Please introduce yourself and share a little about your request.
So I worked as the large events coordinator last year at the QA3. Well, I think it was actually maybe this year because it was like started in last February. And I was the last member to join um that group of like students at that point who were running it. And I think just like the leaders were just having a hard time like explaining to like how everything was done to like for example like with stipends or just like how to like make requests to like get money. And it was kind of just like I felt like I had to figure everything out a lot on my own time, but I'm sure. But yeah, anyway, so basically what happened was when I asked them about how I like get my stipend request, they told me that all I needed to do is give them my ID number and then it would be figured out. But that was like not the case as I have learned now. And basically, I never got paid for my stipend, which is very frustrating because I did a lot of work for this club. And I guess, I mean, I definitely could have like maybe looked to see if I was getting paid, but I didn't know how to. I wasn't told how to, and it was a lot of work. So I was already really busy with my classes. And yeah, basically, I never got paid for my stipend. And if I would have like known about the correct form or if I had been told like the correct information, I absolutely would have filled it out. But unfortunately, I didn't know about that. And now I don't have like am not paid like the stipend that I was promised when I accepted the position. But yeah, that's basically what happened.
Thank you for sharing, Leo. We appreciate it a lot. And then just so everyone got clarification, generally when there is a stipend mishap or something like that, it will go through PFC first, just so they have a chance to talk about it and decide whether it is going to come to Senate or not. And this is something PFC did talk about, decided they wanted to have in Senate. And so that is the justification for having a stipend request on the floor. But with that said, I will now open it up to questions and we'll start with Senator O'Neill.
Yes, hello. Thank you for coming in. I do, well, I'm not specifically gonna comment on this part right now because we already discussed it during PFC, so I already know how I'm gonna vote on it. But I would like to say that, I did email your org for your tag meeting and, nobody has responded and I'm getting a little worried about that. And if that doesn't happen, then y'all may not have a budget next year. So please email me back, please. I yield.
Well, I don't, I'm not entirely sure. I've been trying to get in contact. Basically, everyone has quit except one other person, and my communication with her has been um it's been really difficult to get in contact, but I don't know. I'm honestly thinking about quitting because of that. So I'm not sure. I'll have to get back to you on that.
Yeah, for sure. Are you still going to be in this work for the next year or at least the next few months? Providing that you
Right now, I was able to talk to that like a little bit to the only other person who's running it, but I honestly am not sure right now. It really depends on how much contact I can get with her because we want to try to like hire more people so we can get more people to help out. So it's not just the two of us running it, but it really depends on like if I can get in contact with her. But I mean, I would like to like but realistically with like all the classes I have, it's unrealistic for me to just try to run the entire thing by myself.
yeah, I'm just gonna grab your email, like from online and then I'll email you specifically quickly, I yield.
Did I see Stevenson? Senator Stevenson.
This isn't necessarily a question for you, but does the club get the money for all of the time that they've put in, or where does that go?
When I talked to Leo, they said that essentially everyone else in the club had already gotten paid, and he's the last one that hasn't gotten a stipend.
I mean, was Leo included in the stipend model for the club?
Yeah, his position was included.
Okay, thank you, I yield.
It sounds like essentially the org wasn't submitting like the documents they need to submit in order for people to get paid, and that stacked up months after months. And everyone else got it resolved except for this one student. Senator Bailey.
Can I just ask someone from PFC to explain why it's in Senate now? Like,
So, like, essentially the treasurer is the one that submits it, like how, like, I'll submit it for you guys, right, when to get paid. And then Leo, correct me if I'm wrong too, but just didn't have one of the stipend forms filled out for like that month. So everyone else already had theirs planned or like filled out, and then their treasurer who was absent didn't submit it. So since they had their form filled out, it was able to just like, be resolved by sauce where they're able to just like disperse it. But since Leo didn't have his form, now it came to surface.
And the reason that we're hearing it now is because technically we can't fund stipends with surplus funds unless PFC has specifically talked about it. But after that step, it has to come to Senate for Senate approval like every other surplus request.
okay, and then stipends usually come from a different fund, right? Or
They're generally allocated by PFC during the budget process, and then you have to submit a form to receive your stipend every month.
so then what out of this request would be like out of the ordinary, because this money should have already gone to this person.
It like this was happening over the summer, and then it was like it occurred in the spring, and then like while the issue was going on, then we started talking about it in the summer. Then we kind of had to wait till like PFC had a meeting. So once we did, got the surplus, Leo met with the senator. That's why it's like getting out.
And you.
Yeah, hi. I just kind of want to verify really quickly that you are still in this club enough that you will actually receive this when it goes to a line item for the club. Like, there's no way that this is gonna get lost again, right? This is exactly where you need it to be in order to receive it.
Is that a question for me?
Yes.
Yeah, I am planning to be in the club for the next couple of months, and I'm gonna try to get it back up and running the best I can.
That'd be great. Thank you, I yield.
I feel so bad that this happened because that really sucked. I do notice though in the form, it's saying for most of the months it's $204.28, but then for June it's $286. And I thought you couldn't change the stipend model. It's not from PFC, maybe explain that. Why it's like different for June.
Well, they explained to me, I don't know if this is correct, but the people who were the leaders of the club said that depending on the number of people in like the group, apparently it changes, I guess. Like how much stipend is given out, because I think a member left. So that's why it went up. At least that's what they told me. I don't know if that's correct or not.
So the stipend would just go back to like the surplus or something. But I don't know what to say. I yield.
Fisher, then Withers. Oh, okay, Withers, sorry.
I know that a lot of clubs or some clubs do this thing where like 3 people or like 2 people are supposed to be given the like oh my god, supposed to be getting paid, but then they just divide that among all of the like leading members of the club. So it's not like it's not like the PFC budget necessarily like allocates money for each of those members, but it's for like the 2 co-directors or whatever, and then those 2 co-directors just distribute the money to everybody. So the money probably wasn't shifted because the stipend model changed, but because somebody left, so everybody's shares went up because there were a few people to divide the stipend by. That's what I would assume happened, especially because you just said somebody left.
And all that, we did, and it wasn't something we could do. And
Yeah, really, other than here, I was just gonna make the motion just so we have it. Obviously. Discussion continued. I moved to authorize spending from surplus to group lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, queer alliance, OS number OS 053I, the amount of $1,103 to new line item paying post.
Second Stevenson.
motion made by Fisher, seconded Stevenson. There is no one else.
Oh, I was gonna make another point. So you said that the stipend was divided evenly by everybody, and then they accounted for you when they were dividing that money up, but then you never got it. So where did your share of the money go? Was it divided among the rest of the members?
That's what I was wondering, because I like had known that it was divided like with my position in mind. So that's kind of why I didn't like check or didn't like look in further to like other than what they were telling me. Because as far as I know that like my position was accounted for into what was divided out. So that's why I guess I'm also confused at what happened, and I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I believe since Leo didn't have the form filled out to receive the stipend, his section was budgeted, but he just didn't receive it. That's what I'm assuming. That's really the only way his would get counted, but him just not get it.
And then it like was swept back into surplus.
And then the PFC funds would go after.
Okay. Okay, I yield.
You have any more questions? All right, we'll vote now. Perez,
Aye.
Peter, or Fisher,
Aye.
Neil,
Aye.
Taylor,
Aye.
Smith, Opperday,
Aye.
Heffernan, Amo Diathid, Jenkins Hiscox, Chisholm, Stevenson, Withers,
Aye.
Aye. Fisher,
Aye.
Ludeman,
Aye.
and I say aye as well. Congrats, Leo. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Next up on the agenda, we have Chinese bond job.
Okay, can I speak for them?
Part of the word.
Yeah, I'm in their general membership.
Didn't you used to be like president?
Yeah, but I'm not anymore. Hey. Hello, my name is Megan. I'm a Chinese fund job. I believe that we're requesting surplus for an event that's coming up this year. Maybe it's Lunar New Year. It is Lunar New Year. Oh yeah, Lunar New Year for important events for Chinese people and many other Asians. Last year, our Lunar New Year event had I think an attendance of at least 70 people, 70 to 100 people. It requires getting a lot of food because food is a very important part of the cultural experience. We're gonna make dumplings, mooncakes, and learn about Lunar New Year. It's open to all UO students interested, and the funds will use to purchase dumpling and mooncake materials as well as light snacks and drinks. The estimated attendance is 200 students because we are advertising it very, very well. And it's $950.
Thank you for sharing. We'll start with questions with Senator Fisher.
You might not be able to answer, that's fine. So I know that it says in the form that it wasn't fully funded because you expect a higher turnout, which is why you affect the amount. I was wondering if there were any details on like relating the 950 to the increased amount, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. So originally, well, first off, when we went to budget last year, or when we went to the POC hearing last year, so 2 years ago, we had a grand total of $600 in our budget for years, and that wasn't very fair. So then we got upgraded to around $12,000 plus stipends at tier 3, which is really epic, but ultimately that's mainly stipends. So we had to cut down on a lot of the prices for the events that we're having, even though our events do have a large turnout. So last year, majority of our funding was from surplus, but not unallocated reserve either, because we've been around and had $600. So the reason that there's $950 is because it's probably a doubled inflation of the amount that we had for our original event.
You know how much the original event was?
Well,
you can say no.
Last year, no, I don't remember, but yeah.
Thank you, I yield.
Others?
I went to their Lunar New Year event last year and it was really awesome. I had a really good time. And I personally host a Chinese New Year event for my friends, and I bring a lot less than 200 people, but I spend a lot more money per person on it, so this is pretty cost efficient. And I love this, so I'm gonna make the motion. I move to authorize spending from surplus to Chinese Banjiang OS 292I in the amount of $950 to line item Lunar New Year.
Motion made by Withers, seconded Perez, and we'll continue discussion with Heffernan.
I was just wondering if this event that usually, I'm assuming it's an on-campus event, this is like in PMU type thing, where is it being held?
I'm not quite sure yet, because I'm not one of the people planning it, but last year we had it in one of the large LLT rooms, and it was so full that people had to sit on the sides for some of it. Like Yvette was sitting on the side, I remember that. So it will probably be in a larger room for sure.
Okay, thank you, I yield.
Bailey.
This probably has to happen after the motion on the floor, but can we also do the transfer requests from earlier?
For sure, it does have to have after the motion, but someone can make a motion to bring the table.
Okay,
I was just curious, you said that you're expecting a lot more people than you have before in previous events, and I was wondering, firstly, what have your event sizes looked like in the past, and then what are you expecting in the past?
Yeah, so the first event we had around 70 to 100 people. We didn't even expect that much. We expected 50 the first time, and the reason for that was because we were still kind of a smaller org. This year already at our first few meetings, we've had a lot more people. Like last time I went, I think there was 3 people, which is a lot for a general membership meeting, weekly. And also considering the very large inflation. So for example, ASUO at their first meeting had 200 students, and people from ASUO tend to go to all of these larger events, especially if there's free food. So that's a lot why we would expect a much higher turnout this year, because overall the Asian orgs have been growing more. And also TWSA also has a Lunar New Year event, which I know might seem like it's, competition, but actually Lunar New Year is a very long festival, so it's better to have it on multiple days anyway. Ours will coincide with TWSA's, but yeah, that's just part of it too. TWSA is expecting 200 to 250, so.
Yeah, awesome that we can advertise.
That is it for the speakers list. We will vote by acclamation. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Those who wish to abstain. My motion's passed. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Senator Bailey.
I move to hear the transfer request from Chinese Banzhao. Now.
Motion made by Bailey, seconded by Fisher. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say nay.
You're okay.
We'll now get the request for Chinese Banzhao.
Okay, well, we would like to transfer funds from one line item to another line item. 475 from Lantern Festival and 190 from Movie Night into the recruitment. We are hosting a Lantern Festival or movie night event, and the funds will go towards preparation for recruitment meetings due to increased frequency of meeting schedule. That's true. We used to only have bi-weekly, but now it's weekly. Allocated recruitment event funds used for purchasing snacks, prizes, and materials must be supplemented. Each recruitment meeting is estimated to host 40 people.
I move to authorize the transfer of, for group Chinese Banzhao. From line item, $475 from line item Lantern Festival and $190 from line item movie night. Open your teams.
So OS number 2.
Oh, sorry. Just open your teams. I move to transfer funds within Chinese Banzhao OS number 292I from existing line item Lantern Festival to new line item recruitment event in the amount of $475 and from existing line item movie night to new line item recruitment event in the amount of $190 for a total amount of $665.
Second Withers.
Thank you,
Motion
Caleb.
made by Pepperton, seconded by Withers. Senator Bailey.
I yield.
All right, we will do acclamation again. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Those who abstain. And the motion's passed.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Freedom by Design at ASUO. Thank you guys for coming. Please introduce yourselves and share your requests.
Sure. My name is Brad. I'm the co-editor for Freedom by Design.
I'm Emerson. I'm the director.
And we are here to request $200 from surplus. So we are looking to fund our outdoor workstation project, which is our core design build project we are doing this year. And it's basically just a covered workstation that's going to be a permanent fixture on the University of Oregon's campus so that anyone can go and sit and chill and do their homework. We are requesting this $200 to mostly fund the wood that we're going to be buying for this project. And we plan on coming back in the future to request more money from surplus when we have a better idea of what our budget is going to look like. Because there's a couple things that are still kind of up in the air. And we are requesting money for two reasons. One of which we have not gone through the budgeting process in the past. We're newly recognized org last year. We don't have any money. And second of all, we had previously had access to funds from another club that we are nationally connected to, the American Institute of Architecture students, another club in College of Design. But since we're now our own club, we've been having trouble, we tried to do an internal club transfer, didn't really work out, but we're working with that with Marisol. We met with her, she's our tag leader. But in the meantime, she recommended that we request money now. And yeah.
Awesome. Thank you guys for sharing. We'll start discussion with Senator Stevenson.
Did you fill out the surplus request, Brad?
Yes, I did.
Thank you so much. It is so thorough, and it talks at length about how you guys are a new club, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
So for clarification, we can pull from unallocated. Sick. I'm gonna move to authorize spending from unallocated reserve to Group Freedom by Design at UO, OS number OS379I in the amount of $200 to new line item design dash build.
Motion made by Stevenson, seconded Taylor. Senator Fisher.
Hi, thanks so much for being here. I have a couple of questions. My first question is, do you know when you expect this to be done?
So we are currently in talks with CPFM and our department heads, and so we have to wait for them to have meetings because they're very busy people because it's the beginning of the year and they keep pushing their meetings. So we're not exactly sure on the timeline of this. Definitely before, obviously, the end of the year. We're hoping to start building this fall, but that kind of depends on like when that will happen, and we don't want to like start building and then like have to stop for winter break. But I guess ideally by spring term.
Yeah, cool, thank you. And then my second question is, could you just talk a little bit, so this is for materials. Can you talk a little bit about what you'll come back for later?
Yeah, so we are currently working with an engineer to get the specifics about all the different connection things. And so a large cost of that will be like hardware, like screws and things. We don't know what size screws to get.
There's a lot of specific hardware that's needed for the connections. I don't want to get into that because it's complicated, but there's a lot of like specific things that the engineer requests that we don't know the exact hardware that he has specified yet, because we're still going back and forth with different thread lines on the drawings. So that is still kind of a TBD. We have like rough numbers, but we're also trying to do a lot of this with like secondhand materials. So we can't exactly pull all of our like budgeting from like just online things, because the secondhand materials will cost different than like if you're to go to Jerry's or something.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense, and I love that you're doing that. I also wanted to say that I think this is really important because this is going to impact students before or like during and after you guys leave. Like this will have a really great long lasting impact, and I just think that it's really important, and I think this is a great idea. Thank you very much. I yield.
Senator Hopperhead.
I was just gonna ask like what it's gonna look like how big is it? Okay, if you want to follow our Instagram.
No, it's so the general dimensions, it's about 14 by 8 feet, so it's pretty large. I like to call it like a glorified table pavilion. It has like multiple different heights of tables, so you can like sit and do your work or stand at the table and do your work. And then it has like a canopy covering thing. Okay. In the club for about a year now, and it's just been a lot of. We're hoping to actually build it. So
No, it's so good. It looks awesome. And I love studying outside. It's a great idea. I yield.
Senator Fisher.
Hi guys, I am in huge favor of this. I just wanted to say I think this sounds really cool and I'm really excited to see it. I yield.
And that concludes the discussion. We will now move to vote. Oh, Senator Bailey.
Are you guys building it? Like with you're doing labor all
yes,
yourself?
we're doing our club, and then we're in talks with some students at the Portland AIS that might come down. There's a couple of other student groups that might help us with the building portion of it. Other College of Design clubs, and then our faculty advisor Tom Hahn has a very extensive construction background, and so he will be there as our main supervisor to help with a lot of that. And we're also working with the Lawrence Woodshop director, so also mostly students.
And then where is it going to?
So that is also another a little bit up in the air thing right now. We have like 2 site locations. Right now it's on like the old quad, like next to Lawrence, kind of where they're doing the construction on Friendly right now, which is also a little bit of an issue because our site is like lucky where they're doing the construction right now. And then we had another one over on the Grillinger, like Memorial Mall. But
we were mostly ideally wanting it closer because we are architecture students. We did want it a little bit closer to our buildings, which are Lawrence and Gerlinger, but still like access to all students.
That now concludes discussion. We'll go to vote. We're gonna vote by acclamation again. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Those who wish to abstain. And the motion is passed. Congrats, guys. Moving forward on the agenda, we have the Korean Student Association. We have a representative from the Korean Student Association.
I move to table the Korean Student Association.
Second, Davidson.
I recognize Senator O'Neill.
Yeah, I'm not a representative for KSA because I've never been to any of their meetings, but I did meet with them about this surplus request. Their ledger has been frozen since the beginning of the year because of $297 in debt from last year. This would be just to cover it. I would like to really encourage just paying for that. It's because they got some sort of banner situation, I think. But I would encourage just approving it here. I mean, I know it's $297. You know, they're doing events and stuff, and their ledger's still frozen. They reached out to ASUO 2 weeks ago, but they only just got into the surplus agenda today. So, yeah, I yield.
Someone can make a motion for it. I do think that approving surplus requests when people aren't here could be a slippery slope, but I do understand that, but it is totally up to you guys. So one of you can make the motion, we can vote on it. Senator Fisher.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I also wanted to say, that I think just that this was on the agenda on Monday when he sent out the agenda, because I did the math. So they did have a couple of days to know that this was gonna be on the agenda. But I agree, I yield.
Just to further add to it as well, they specifically scheduled a meeting with me just so that they could talk about this. I know they're not here right now, but this wasn't just some email situation. They came in, multiple of them came to discuss this. So that's why I think, I don't know, it must have slipped their minds or something, but a frozen ledger is just really difficult to deal with. So yeah, I don't know what kind of motion I'd make or what, but
The motion for the transfer.
yeah, I mean,
Or for surplus, my bad.
I haven't really opened. Okay. I yield.
Senator Whittley.
Don't we need to vote on the initial motion before we can make a new one?
Was it?
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it was an unrecognized motion.
I do definitely agree that this is something that, I do definitely agree that this is something that should be fixed, but I feel like on principle, being here is how you get that fixed. So, motion to table the request from KSA.
Motion made by Stevenson, seconded by Ludeman. Vote on acclamation, but they don't have to be unanimous every time. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay.
Nay.
Motion's passed. Moving forward, we have the Thai Student Association. Senator Fisher.
I move to table the request from Thai Student Association.
Motion made by Senator Fisher, seconded by Heffernan. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. And the motion is tabled. Moving to the Thai Student Association. Moving to the Women of Color Coalition.
Hello, thank you for having us here today. My name is Melina Arroyo and I'm the president of Women of Color Coalition.
And my name is Janet Polanco and I am the marketing and public relations coordinator for Women of Color Coalition.
Next slide, please. Thank you. The Women of Color Coalition was established at the University of Oregon in 2016. Our mission is to create a unified front that empowers women of color We aim to build a community of compassion and opportunity to support each other during times of need and to find the strength within each other at a predominant life. At the coalition, we promote intersectional feminism and continuously encourage the dialogue on marginalized identities by making our presence visible and contributions to the institution as well. Next slide, please.
Don't mind me reading from our notes here. So our organization has just recently discovered an unexpected financial shortfall that has significant implications for our operations this academic year. Last week, after submitting our stipend forms, we became aware that WAC has zero budget, zero funds, and zero stipends for this academic year. This news was a shock to all three of us, as our previous board members had communicated to us that everything was set and prepared for us to take over. All three of us are new to the board. Our previous board members have since graduated. Further investigation of the situation showed that no budget form was submitted or documented by the previous board members for the 25-26 academic year, leaving us without necessary financial planning or resources.
Due to this, our organization has been reclassified to Tier 1 and has no budget or stipend eligibility. Last year, as a Tier 3 organization, we had a substantial budget to support our activity. It is unfortunate that while our organization has grown in membership, this is evidenced by our weekly meetings, with our first meeting of this academic year back in September having the most attendance that we've seen for the past 2 years. We now lack the necessary funding to fully support this growth. We host weekly meetings for our members, plan larger events for the community, devote extensive amounts of time to the organization. We're actively addressing these financial challenges and working with what we have to restore stability as an organization. This surplus request is a critical step in allowing us to continue showing up for our community on campus. Next. This is just a visual breakdown of our surplus request. So for the whole academic year, we are requesting $2,900, and this will be broken down into line item 1, events, line item 2, meetings, and line item 3, retreat. For line item 1, events, we are breaking it down into 4 categories. With catering, that would be $200 per term. That's why it's 200 times 3. Craft supplies, $150 per term. Room rental, $200 for winter and spring term, and then decor at $75 per term. And then that totals up to $1,675. For line item 2 is meetings. We are requesting $300 for fall, winter, and spring. That's $700 each term. And then for prizes, $75 for each term, which totals up to $1,125. And there are last line item is our retreat, and that we are requesting $100. And that totals up to $2,900 for the entire academic year. Next slide, please.
And then I kind of just wanted to highlight some of our annual events that we try to put on every year. Usually in the fall, we host an annual spooky night. This is just kind of a way to get our members together to like celebrate Halloween in a fun way. In the past, we've had little movie nights. We've done fun Halloween crafts, had snacks available. This year, we are collaborating with the Latina Male Alliance, and we are planning on hosting like a little Jeopardy with like a little costume party. Additionally, in the winter, we host Stepping on Business. This is in collaboration with other orgs on campus. In the past, we've done it with Mujeres, BWA, and we've also done it with LGBTESS. This is just a way to get professors who are here on campus, like advisors, any staff who will have like come speak for us, just to like kind of give insight into like how they got to the role that they are. I think this is a really great event. It really helps build a lot of community and a lot of connections. Like for example, a member who showed up last year was able to get connections for an internship for clients. And additionally, in the spring, we also host a clothing swap. This is just a way to kind of inform our members about fast fashion. We do catering for these events, and we host a big clothing swap at the end. I know a good chunk of our members have been able to donate clothes, but also get a lot of good clothes as well.
Next slide. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that was our presentation.
That's the presentation. We appreciate it. We'll open the floor for discussion now, starting with Senator Fisher.
Hi guys, thanks so much for being here. I have a couple of questions for you, and then I have logistical questions for our favorite team here. First question, so you have no contact with your previous board, like none?
We do, and we actually did try to contact them. They gave us some documents, but those documents weren't the correct ones that we needed for this.
I love that. And then could you give a little bit of details on what your retreat is?
Yeah, so our retreat is just a small retreat that we have with the executive board. So Janet, I, and then Gabby, who's our vice president, and then our interns. We have a finance intern, 2 outreach interns, 1 admin intern, and then 1 graphic design intern. And then that is just a retreat for us to kind of get together, build community between us, get to know each other.
Yeah, what do you do? Where do you go? Do you go anywhere?
It's more of just like we do catering, so like a little dinner. Sometimes we also order craft supplies and we do like painting. It's more of like an intimate thing.
That's fun. I love that for you. Okay, now for our favorite team. I know Mary's not here, but what is the typical budget of a tier 1 and a tier 3 board? We know that.
It varies. Like I feel like I
feel like for
Share the floor so she can recognize speakers.
Yes.
Okay, I think that tier 1, all of them, I feel like it's typically like a couple $100. Okay, like 500 and 600, something like that. Tier 3, 7,020, that is automatically going to be stipends. So it's at least, it's like significantly more.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm looking at the budget tracker and it says that, do you guys know how much your budget is this year? Zero. Okay. So yeah, the year before that for 24-25, their budget was 8,000.
Okay.
So it's a very like significant difference. Well, let's go to stipends, but like
Senator O'Neill, do you want to add?
Yeah, I was the one that met with us on this whole thing, and I did quite a deep dive into what was going on. I even contacted their past PFC tag. Basically, they tried to set up the meeting. It just never went through or something. I also have seen their ledgers over the past few years. It is, as a general, like to your question on the tier 3 boards, yeah, majority of it is stipend, so it isn't really reflecting the amount of actual spending capacity, especially considering there are many first and second tier orgs that have quite a few thousand but no stipends, you know. So it's quite complex in that. Ultimately, this was a budget that we walked through together, and that seems extremely reasonable for the types of events that they've done in the past. This is supposed to be kind of, you know, a baseline for what they can go off of right now. But yeah, this is the best option that they have right now, because also orgs can only increase by 1 tier every year, so they can't just jump straight there. We also like it's extremely regular to fund stipends from surplus as well, especially active ongoing stipends. It seems like we've only done progressive stipends, but yeah, this is like the best option right now. Yeah, I yield back to Fisher.
And then is there something, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe there's something about like gift counts, like, and they're talking, I'm sorry. Craft supplies like tote bags, beads, paintbrushes, and that kind of thing. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Like there's a limit on what we can gift someone. Does that apply here?
gift.
Senator Willard?
If it's like over $50, then it matters. Like if it's
over 10, then they start assessing it, and if it gets up to 50,
then you're like taxed for it. But if each person individually receives less than $10 worth of craft supplies or a bag or whatever, then it's fine.
Senator Fisher has the floor still.
Well, hold on. Do you guys anticipate that you will give out more than $10 of craft supplies?
Like for each person?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Even then, we also just try to keep it within a specific budget, just overall.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Senator O'Neill.
Also, for the gifting area, we did specifically calculate that to make sense with the single gifting guidelines. Like we went through them.
Okay, cool. I yield back. Thank you. That is all I have. Thank you. I yield.
Yeah, a lot of my questions were answered, but I just want to say I'm really sorry that this happened to you guys. This is like a really big problem that a lot of student orgs have to face is like leadership turnover. Trying to like make that process more smooth, like transition license, like putting some of the effort into like PCM and things to make sure that these processes are more like transparent and like easier to follow. So I'm totally in favor of funding this request. They did have a bigger budget before, and also I know that like you guys met with May is your tag, and they're awesome. And we're gonna rectify this year in your budget hearing. So I'm really sorry, and thank you for coming. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just be super brief. I was the one that met with them for this. They worked very hard on this budget. It really does just meet exactly what they want to do this year. They can always come back to surplus, of course. They were trying to be fiscally responsible too, like they were thinking, oh, maybe we shouldn't do this much, but that's not a very fair way to think because their whole budget was taken away. So ultimately, this is a great thing. I expect everyone to vote yes on it. And
Stevenson or Bailey?
Yeah, so for our stepping on business event last year, we had it over up in the Redwood Auditorium. I can't remember exactly how much that cost, but it was near $200. So we're just trying to like make sure we have enough to allocate to that. Additionally, we do want to try to get a bigger room for our clothing swap. For reference, last year we had it in this room and it was packed like probably a fire hazard. But yeah, we do want to like try to get a bigger room for that. So we just want to make sure that we have the funds.
Thank you, Ayu.
Okay. Our budget from last year, it was swept back to surplus. Yes. No?
Yeah, there's never a budget even requested.
Okay.
So their budget from 2 years ago got swept back to surplus, and like last year there was just no request made.
Okay. Their budget from 2 years ago.
Well, like what they didn't spend, I mean.
Okay.
So like.
Also, I guess just like a point of curiosity, why not stipends aren't factored into this?
No, because we went down to tier 1 and we're not eligible for stipends anymore, so that's why we don't have it included.
Fucking sucks. I'm so sorry. Anyone make a motion? Oh, how do I do that?
Robin, it's your team.
Oh, no. I moved to authorize spending from surplus through Women of Color Coalition, OS number OS 286, in the amount of $1,675 to new line item events, $1,125 to new line item meetings, and $100 to new line item retreat for a total amount of $2,900.
Motion made by Bailey, second on the DFA. Fisher. Okay. That concludes the discussion. Bethany?
Shouldn't this come from unallocated? Because they're.
They were recognized or before that had a budget.
Oh, they actually never have been. Okay, I yield. Thank you. That'll be in our priorities. Exact definition.
Perfect.
All right, we will do a roll call vote now, starting with Perez. Fisher.
Aye.
O'Neill.
Aye.
Taylor. Aye. Smith. Operative. Brennan. James. Cox.
Aye.
Chisholm. Hampton. Aye. Withers.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Newman.
Aye.
And I say aye as well. Congrats, guys.
Move to take the surplus investment ties to an association.
Second Withers.
Motion made by Ludwig, seconded Willard. We will now hear the request from Thai Student Association. Thank you guys so much for coming. Please introduce yourselves and share your requests.
My name is Jocelyn Bang. I'm the treasurer of DSA.
Hi, my name is Kalei Larson. I'm the outreach officer.
My name is Hannah Lindsley. I'm the graphics coordinator. Thank you.
Okay, so for requesting the surplus, we requested about 975, and that's only for this fall 2025 term because we have 3 events coming up in week 4, 6, and 8. For the first event is the sports day where we are trying to incorporate some like Thai cultural
Airball is the national sport of Thailand. It's think like basketball, ultimate frisbee, and a chair had a baby. All right. You're standing on a chair, someone's holding a basket, and you got a ball, right? But it's like ultimate frisbee, where like you can't move when you have the ball in your hands and you're just trying to get it into the basket, but the basket can also move. And it's a lot of fun. I recommend coming and playing with us on this Monday. But yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so and like without that, we wanted to provide snacks and drinks and like prizes because we do plan to do competitions of some sort. And like with this event, we want to incorporate more engagement with our club, more activities, have them learn more about the Thai culture, starting with like the sports activity.
Like the last sports day we did a collaboration with Oregon State University and we bought like some Thai snacks and like Thai themed prizes. And I think it was a fun way to tie in like like all the refreshments and stuff into the cultural aspect.
So that's for week 4. For week 6, we plan to do a collaboration with the Vietnamese Student Association, where the theme is going to be street food, where we are gonna incorporate like the different street food dishes and each cultures that you see on the street.
I I don't know if you guys know, but street food is a big like part of Thai culture. Like I feel like to truly do it justice and to truly, I'm planning to make a surprise salad. It's amazing, but to like truly get to like what we want and to get that aspect and get all the ingredients, a budget.
So the budget for the VSA collab with snacks and catering and as well as prizes because we're gonna also do like some competition themed with like some cultural themes.
And then for the last collab or the last event is week 8. It's a big event called I don't know what.
Our week 8 event is going to be for the Thai holiday Loi Krathong, which is basically the full moon festival. In Thailand, everyone will take to the rivers and set out lanterns. We wanted to have this be our biggest event of the year and incorporate a lot of water and lantern themed activities. So the budget for this event would be going towards a catering from Tasty Thai, as well as snacks and prizes. And we wanted to do some craft activities like lantern making and maybe some water games. So the budget would go towards all of it.
And the whole point of all of these events is to bring more knowledge about Thai culture and also like more engagement, just like overall expanding our club for like everyone and not just like a particular group, so that everyone can like feel welcome and gain more knowledge, like cultural knowledge overall.
These all sound like great events for the campus community. So we appreciate y'all making your requests. We will now open up to questions with Senator Fisher.
Hi guys, thanks so much for being here. Again, logistical question. You're good for a second. The gift amount thing is over $10. It is in the form. So what do we do about that?
$10, it just means that the gift is gonna get recorded. It's only once you get, a student gets enough gifts that it's over $50 that they'll get a tax.
Okay. I understand. Okay.
That's okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. I will never ask a question ever again. Thank you. You guys did great. I yield.
We don't have any other questions on the speakers list. Does anybody else want to ask a question? Oh, we don't have a motion either. Here we go.
Did you say you don't have a budget?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry for bringing it up, but, last year we missed the deadline, so we weren't able to get a budget for this year, but, this year, I am gonna be on top of it, get a budget for the next year, but for now, we are just gonna be asking for the surplus money so that we could be able to fund our event and try to continue on with like, bringing up our, high cultural knowledge, first, like.
Cute. So does that mean they also?
Have you guys ever had a budget?
We all just joined the club like this year or last year to kind of revive things. So I'm not sure. I don't believe that TSA has ever had a budget. So next year should be the first time we're working on getting it.
Yield.
They haven't had a budget since 23.
Because the unallocated reserve set aside for works that just went through the process but have never gotten to have a budget. If there are. Do you still want to ask a question?
Oh, no.
Sorry.
Yes, I'm gonna make the motion, but I did wanna note, unallocated reserve is only for organizations that are new. Like they have to be just founded, and because they've been just founded, they have not gone through this. Not having a budget is not enough for you to go through unallocated reserve.
So orgs don't have to be new, they just have to be newly recognized by ASUO. There's some orgs that have been on campus for a while, but they haven't gone through ASUO.
What am I doing? I'm making a motion. I move to authorize spending from surplus to Group Thai Student Association OS number OS 309I in the amount of $974, new line item fall 2025.
Motion made by Fisher, seconded by O'Neill. Second answer. Right. Acclamation, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Those who wish to abstain, and the motion is approved. Congrats, guys. And next up, we have net impact undergraduate chapter. Thank you guys so much for coming tonight. Please introduce yourself, hear about your request.
I'm studying environmental studies.
Hi, I'm Paulina Siri. I'm the VP of Operations for Net Impact. I'm studying environmental studies and minoring in sustainable business.
Hi, my name is Liam Cuevas Oliveri. I am Secretary of Finance for Net Impact, and I am studying sustainable business and economics.
Thank you for letting us stand here before you guys today. As we said before, we are Net Impact. We're the Sustainable Business Club here on campus. We have come here tonight in front of you guys to request surplus for our annual networking trip.
Next slide. Okay, so I want to provide a little bit of an introduction to you guys. Net Impact is an international nonprofit. It's an organization that supports over 300 chapters around the world of graduate, undergraduate, and professional networks. And so our goal here at Net Impact Undergraduate, University of Oregon, is to provide opportunities for our members to explore the intersection of business, social responsibility, and sustainability We facilitate networking trips, professional development opportunities for our members, seminars, and volunteering. And 3 of our core pillars that we have that we try to base every engagement around is our community engagement, our educational opportunities, and professional development for our members and community of the campus. Okay, so a little bit more about who we are as an undergrad organization. We were established in 2014 out of the Long Coast College of Business in the Center for Sustainable Business Practices. Currently, our roster has around 40 participating members, and I think a great distinction to point out is most of our roster is actually undergrad or underclassmen. So we've got freshmen and sophomore populations dominating our membership. And 2 other key things that I want to communicate to the Senate tonight is that there are no major or minor requirements to be a part of Net Impact. That means that people like me and Liam and people in data science, people in marine biology and journalism school can all be on our team, be in our membership, and experience benefits of a College of Business club while being kind of a diverse group of students academically. And the second thing I'd love to point out is that we have 0 membership dues associated with membership. So this is a completely free club. Many clubs out of the College of Business require annual or term-based dues. So we're free, and that's a reason to just maintain accessibility for all members across the campus. Great. Well, here's just some photos of us on our networking trips in the past, professional development opportunities and community engagement, and just educational opportunities. We've got so to break down sort of the distinction between our membership structure, as we are open to all students around campus, we think it's important to provide just sort of a tier system for our members. Anyone is welcome to come to our weekly meetings at 6 p.m. on Thursdays. They're completely patient. You guys should come. We have guest speakers coming in. We have educational meetings and different conferences we host during this time slot. So a general member of Net Impact is someone who shows up when they can. They will participate as they feel like they want to and attend other community engagements or social events, but they have no real responsibilities or duties within our club and org structure. And for those who want to have an extra layer of involvement and commitment to our club and sort of get more out of what they're putting into, we have an onboarded member status. So this process looks something like an application. A member will submit some basic information, identification, reasoning for requesting the status. They'll meet with our VP of membership, who then talks to them, gets an understanding of their interest in sustainability, corporate responsibility, and then they'll be placed onto a committee. They'll be able to bond with other club members and look at an intersection of sustainability and communication, or sustainability and design, or sustainability and research. So this involves some more commitment to the club. They'll be involved with developing a deliverable for the end of the term. So the way to grow their professional skills and also building their community at the same time. So those are some requirements, the distinction between the 2. I might want you guys to reference that later in the slideshow, but yeah, we can move on. Great. So the reason we're here tonight is to ask for a surplus request for our annual networking trip. So this is a 4 to 5 cross-sector professional development trip for students of all academic backgrounds across the university. And we really pride ourselves on making this a free opportunity for our students. One thing I really want to point out here is that first bullet point. This trip provides professional development experience and bridges the gap between this opportunity of building these skills for our students outside of the College of Business. For those students who are in LCB, there's classes, programs, and clubs that build these skills for you in class. But for somebody like myself, an environmental science and studies or social science, natural science student, we rarely get these opportunities built within our curriculum. And so this is a way that we can bring students along from around the whole campus to build these skills naturally in a great supportive environment. So these skills look like concise professional communication, confidence building in professional settings, developing an understanding of what each company is in our focus groups, and just an application of real world concepts in classes. And to do a little bit of vetting before we bring our members on, we have a whole application process that we've been developing the timeline for over the past couple months. So our applications for this networking trip are going to open on October 23rd, which is in week 4. And then it's going to be closed in week 6 on November 7th. And this application process evaluates members' engagement in the club, their engagement around campus, if they haven't had a lot of time with the net impact, but show strong professional or just like general interest in sustainability and corporate responsibility. They're expressing their desire and reasoning for attending this trip. And we're kind of evaluating how eloquently they're able to write and communicate in a professional setting. So our applications are due on the 7th of November, and then our exec team has a couple meetings. We review the applications, we score them on a scale from 1 to 4, find an average, decide who we're going to be bringing on our trip, and then the attendance status is communicated to the applicants. So this is a vetted process. The only people who are allowed to apply to this trip are onboarding members. So they've been through that first layer of vetting, and now they're kind of proving themselves again why they're interested in coming on this trip and expressing what they gain from this opportunity. So this year, we're proposing to expand our trip from Seattle or San Francisco to Austin, Texas. Me and the executive team were thinking about where we'd like to expand our destination for this year, and we landed on Austin as it has a very unique perspective on sustainability compared to the other towns and cities that we've been to in the past. We've historically been up to Seattle, we've been down to San Francisco, we've built strong relationships and connections to industry partners and sort of sectors in these two cities. And Austin provides a very unique perspective, being a predominantly red state, but being a blue bubble, and having really strong corporate and public and private sector efforts in sustainability. Another thing I'd like to note is the academic partnerships that we plan to move forward with when we go down there. As I mentioned before, Net Impact is an international chapter or international organization. So we plan to meet with the Net Impact chapter of the UT Austin School of Business, as well as the UT Austin Office of Sustainability, where we all have connections with throughout our executive team. Austin is also a hub for clean energy and clean tech. They're kind of known internationally and nationally as a really up and coming space for renewable energy and alternative energy, and this provides a really unique and cool opportunity for our members to talk to some of the up and coming leaders in clean and alternative energy. And the last thing I'd like to point out is the city government excellence in climate and resiliency work. Austin's nationally recognized as one of the most forward-thinking cities, obviously in the southern parts of the states, but nationally as well, for having great policy programs and initiatives that support all of Austin's citizens and members. So this is what led us to deciding that Austin would be the smartest move, both financially and sort of professionally for our members.
Yeah, so here you have the condensed version of our itinerary for our student networking trip in Austin. This itinerary really focuses and ensures efficiency throughout the 5 days that we're in Austin. This means having a site visit and having a speaker in a conference room every single day of the networking trip, including the travel days where we land and leave Austin. Aside from ensuring efficiency, I also want to make sure that our members are provided with broad networking experiences. This means that we visit government organizations in the Office of Climate Action and Resilience. We visit corporate institutions, say KPMG and Whole Foods, and educational entities such as the Office of Sustainability at UT Austin. We will meet with their director and gain really valuable insight throughout all of these broad networking experiences. Overall, this itinerary really focuses on providing the most value to our members through broad networking experiences and ensuring efficiency every single day that we are.
So this is a high-level budget overview. We have already provided a detailed budget with costs broken down per day. And I just wanted to highlight the 4 main categories that we are asking funds for. This includes team meals, flights, rental vans, and conference rooms, and kind of explains how we estimated the calculations for each portion of that, which leads to about $16,921 total needed for this. During the budget process last year, though, we have already set aside a portion of our yearly budget to be allocated for this trip. If you go to the next slide, I show that. $5,000 is already a line item inside our 2025-2026 budget called networking trip for this reason specifically. This was the advice given to us by last year's PFC Council. They believed that a networking trip to Austin was an appropriate use of surplus funds and advised us to set aside a portion of our yearly budget and request a surplus for the rest. Go to the next slide. Kind of talks about our funding a little bit. As Paulina said, we are housed out of the Lundquist College of Business, but we are so much more than just business majors. This puts our club in a really unique position. We try to remain as inclusive as possible and taking away all barriers to entry for our members. This means no membership dues, which means no income coming from our membership base. And this means no major requirements, which means that we lose essential funding sources that our other club counterparts have access to. We are associated with the Center for Sustainable Business, and they help us out a little bit, but the majority of the money that they give us is actually supposed to be saved for our end of year spring conference, which they help us plan. So most other business clubs get funding through more career services. We've actually been denied funding through them because they will only serve business units, and we refuse to change our membership structure just for this funding source. This being said, this means that we heavily rely on the ASUO surplus to help us meet ends. Tonight we have come here to ask you to help us meet ends while remaining accessible to all students and all members.
For the thorough presentation, we appreciate it a lot. We'll start discussion now. We'll start with Senator Stevenson.
Thank you guys for being here. Very nice. Just for clarification, ASUO is going to be 100% responsible for this trip if we were to say yes on it. Okay, great. Thank you, IU.
Hi guys, thanks for coming. I just had a question about, I know you guys haven't picked like who's gonna go yet because the application's not open, but are you going to be prioritizing people who like haven't attended before?
Yes.
So that was my question. I yield.
What was the difference in cost with changing the location from Seattle to Texas compared to last year's trip?
So last year I served as president and we went down to San Francisco. We used ASUO funds to take flights down there, and that was new for us. That was a huge change in like the ease of accessibility for a lot of people. Many people didn't want and didn't feel comfortable with able to sit in a van for 12 hours to get down there. So these funds were great for us to go down to San Francisco. That being said, looking at the flights specifically, I think there was a marginal difference in costs from going from Eugene to San Francisco, from Eugene to Austin. There is going to be a layover, so I think that kind of impacted the cost somehow. Looking at lodging, from my memory of last year's planning, it was actually cheaper in Austin compared to staying in the Bay Area. We had to stay about an hour away from most of our site visits. Meals. I mean, that was another big thing. That was around the same cost, looking at average price, like per diem rates in both of these regions. So using that.
I mean, rates are much cheaper in Austin than cheaper in Austin, and the only like marginal difference is the flights.
You guys talked about some of the site visits you're going on, and a lot of them seem awesome. I was just curious, what into the process of selecting your sites? Because there were some like TikTok and things like that. I was just curious about.
Yeah. So I think it's important to show like a broad range of sectors when we're taking these business trips. That being said, we're going to be going to the Office of Sustainability, we're going to be looking at the City of Austin, looking at Environmental Defense Fund, one of the largest environmental nonprofits, but making the choice to go to a tech company and ask them about their sustainability and ESG practices is something that's very unique to like an up and coming tech space like Austin. Last year, we had the opportunity to speak with somebody in sustainability and supply chain at Google, and our members came prepared with a lot of critical questions and sort of insights and perspectives to offer this this employee. And so I hope we do the same this year. I think it's a really it's an important time to be critical to tech and sustainability. And this offers our members a way to sort of practice that skill. And it shows to these companies that we are willing to talk about sort of hard contentious topics in the space of tech, energy, and sustainability.
Just to clarify, when it comes to like TikTok and Bubble, we chose these places because they are headquartered in Austin specifically. So we're going to their headquarters and we're speaking with like the director of sustainability within the headquarters. We have LinkedIn connections through our alumni base, through our exec, through other like business connections with all these places.
Should have left that.
Yeah, and it just allows our members to get insight on companies that might not seem as related to sustainability. It kind of just expands the horizons. It's companies that you like at the surface level you might not see their impact in the environment, but they still do, and so it just spreads a broader experience.
Senator Withers.
I think this sounds like a really great opportunity. I was just wondering how many, I don't know what the term used for, but how many like, onboarded members you have? You're sending 18 people, so I was wondering like what the ratio is.
This year, our onboarding process is open on Thursday, and it's going to close in a couple weeks. We're anticipating our onboarding membership count to be around 20 people. That being said, our attendance count is at 18 right now. So we're not going to be able to bring all our onboarded members. So that selection process will be a little bit less competitive than it was in years past. We had a large percentage of our membership graduate last year. So we're still trying to fill in those gaps for this upcoming application cycle.
Yeah, great. And how many general members do you have?
I think we have around 40 general members and then members we get. Yeah, it's full.
Thank you, Phil.
Yeah, so you mentioned your conference in the spring as well, that's partially funded by company. But is that also something you travel for, or is that an on-campus conference?
We actually hold that here out of the center. That's our largest like event that we put on all year round. That's how we get the tier 4 status. We have over 100 members on every single time. So I think people travel.
Or is it just like a big event?
It's mostly for the UO community. Okay. So it's mostly students, and then we also get just like members as well, and then we try to fly in speakers to come here. So instead of like us going somewhere else, we bring everyone to UO so that everyone's here.
Okay, great. And do you anticipate do you get the entirety of your funding for that conference from that other place, or are you anticipating coming back to surplus for that as well?
We are not anticipating coming back to surplus. We have never come back to surplus for the conference.
Okay. Thank you. I yield.
Senator Stephen, do you have a secondary list?
The question for Senator, although to answer it, and also for anyone else on Surplus Accessibility Committee. I think last Senate there was a someone said, I think it was Senator. Yeah, talking about how like trips are the new coming down the pike about trips is like more trips or a lot less trips pulled. And I was just curious if anyone on that committee speaks to that, because I know that was a big issue last Senate, and yeah, so I would just be curious what kind of that committee is thinking towards at this moving time.
Okay, so currently our financial priorities that we have just established and have not yet been brought to Senate, nor has Senate voted on it, which means Senate is not beholden to following them currently. We have altered some guidelines for travel. We did significantly decrease what last year's surplus priorities surrounding travel. Again, no one is beholden to this. It's just what we have right now. Currently, the travel that this would fall under does fit in all of the guidelines that we have made. We were thinking about 5 days of travel, which includes 2 travel days, 3 programming days, having to have programming between the hours of 9 a.m. and 4 p.m., as well as the attendees and the itineraries which they've given us. They've also gone a little further because they're doing programming during travel days, and then a recommended maximum of 12,000, which they are. So if we were following these priorities currently, they would be within the guidelines. However, I do also want to know in our priorities at the very beginning, we also say like these are guidelines, document is meant to support organizations when drafting requests and Senate when considering requests. The Senate is not obligated to fulfill or approve any request, even within the following guidelines.
Senator Chisholm.
Like, oh, sorry. Yeah, we only have it. It's like if the dates like January 12th to 1960. That's like, you gauge like, yeah, it has never been a problem in the past because they know they're going so early in advance to give them a lot of time to get everything ready.
Senator Stevenson.
Thank you guys so much for sitting here and listening to us quarrel amongst ourselves. I hope that someone makes a motion. I think that $662 for 9 site visits, or $662 per person for 9 site visits is a really good cost. Thank you, IU.
Smith.
Sorry, I just had a quick question. I noticed there's no like lodging or hotels or anything like that on the. Wait, am I wrong?
No, you're right. There's no lodging on it.
Okay. Did we already go over that?
They had to see today. When I said earlier how we have a little bit of funding for the Center for Sustainable Business Practices, the one thing they agreed to pay for us is our lodging. That's covered through outside funds.
Sorry about that. Thank you.
I don't have a motion on the floor yet.
Yeah, I'll make the motion. I move to authorize spending from surplus to group net impact undergraduate chapter OS number OS 261 to new line item. Sorry, I prefer one else than myself. To existing line item annual networking trip in the total amount of $11,921.
Motion made by Chair, second by Perez. And we will move to vote if there's no more questions. Perez. Aye. Fisher.
Aye.
Emile.
Aye.
Taylor. Aye. Smith.
Aye.
Hopperton.
Aye.
Heffernan.
Nay.
Amo Diafed. Jenkins Hiscox. Nagarajan. Stevenson. Aye. Withers.
Aye.
Bailey.
Aye.
Fisher.
Nay.
Ludeman.
Abstain.
And I say aye. Congrats, guys.
Guys.
Thank you so much for coming. This.
For those of you who said no, can you explain why? I feel like if people say no, they should like give reasoning during the conversation.
We can move forward to the agenda. We can talk about that.
Okay. I yield.
We want to, that discussion. Bailey, say aye.
Wait.
A motion to have a discussion over the vote that was just made. Okay.
Let's hear them first.
Moving forward, what do you think, minority representation for medical students?
Hi everyone, my name is Kyle. I'm the president of UOMAX, which is the minority section for students. So AMEC is our annual education conference. It's hosted by MAPS's parent organization. So MAPS is actually a national chapter under SMA. They have workshops, exhibit fairs, networking, and speakers. As you can see in the top right picture, that is one of our previous officers doing a suturing workshop. And then you can see at the bottom, we actually met up with some current med students at OHSU and were able to talk with them and kind of get to know what they do and all that. It was a really good meeting with them. It will be April 1st through the 5th, so that will be a Wednesday through a Sunday. And SMA is like MAPS focuses on supporting minorities in the pre-health community. So it's a very good opportunity for our officers to be able to see that represented. And they also have a lot of focused workshops. They had one last year about DEI in healthcare and how we're going to navigate that in the future, especially with the current political climate and how to budget for residency and all that, especially for lower income students. Basically, total cost will be 11,000. This was last year's. Last year's total was $11,786. Membership fees, because so last year we paid around $237 per person for conference tickets, and that was just because they were at regular price. Currently, if we are able to go through the surplus request and fill all this out, hopefully in time, the early bird, hopefully we'll get in by the early bird tickets, which will only be $208 per person. So the total membership conference fees cost us last year $1,927. Lodging, we had 4 rooms, 3 singles, and 1 double, for a total of $2,880. And airfare cost us $539.95 for a total cost of $3,779. This is for 7 officers who are in MAPS. We are also going to have there's also another conference that SNMA hosts called the Regional Medical Conference, and that is usually within the West Coast, so we're hoping to take members to that one. This just because of logistics of asking for flight travel and all that, we're keeping payments specifically just to officers. And so this year, since we are, sorry. Sorry.
Next slide.
Oh, no, this is the next slide.
Oh.
Yeah. So this year, our total cost I've calculated is around $11,247, and we're going to be requesting $11,500 just to round up and just take those extra costs. So, like I said, if we can get the surplus request sent through right now, the early bird price per ticket, conference ticket per person is only $208 for a total cost of $1,456. Lodging, it will be at Homewood Suites, which is around a 5-minute walk from the convention center. We will only need 3 rooms this year, 2 singles and 1 double for $3,571. Airfare, the cheapest I was able to find was $470 for a total cost of $3,000. And then, so last year it was in St. Louis, and then this year it will be in Pennsylvania. It's kind of just like a breakdown of the cost. We plan on all becoming active members, like member attendees, which will be the top bracket as pre-med students. As you can see, the early cost until November 15th will be $208 per ticket. The member attendees, we need to become an SNMA member, which costs around like $21 for a year membership. And you can see it's really worth it because if you're not a member, it will cost us around $356 just for regular tickets. And yes. And so this is a breakdown of the hotel costs. For some reason, they're charging us differently per night. I don't know why, but this is just a breakdown cost of per night, per room, and then the total cost. And then this is the reasonable ticket that I could find for the cheapest price.
Thank you so much for sharing. We'll now open the floor up to questions. Thank you, Fisher.
Hi, thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate that you hung out. I also appreciate that you saw. Oh, you did great. A couple questions. I was wondering how the 7 students will be chosen.
So the 7 students are actually the 7 officers.
Cool. And then I was wondering about the lodging. Why is it not 2 doubles?
It's not 2 doubles because we have.
No, you're fine. Take your time.
5 girls and 2 guys. So 2 guys will take 1 single, and 5 girls will split the double and the single.
I see. Okay, thank you. And then I just wanted to say for the rest of Senate that this request also does fit within our premature priorities that have not yet approved, and therefore no one is pulled into them.
And
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to clarify, you guys have to go to this conference in order to have your chapter status?
Yes. So they require us to go to at least 2 of their conferences. They have another one called like National Leadership and but the regional medical conference is obviously closer for us, and then AMEC is our big one that like everyone goes to, so it's a bigger networking event and more opportunities, which is what she's good about.
Thank you, Ayo.
Does your national organization offer any funding support?
I'll check that out.
It's a little concerning, I don't know, just in general to me that a national organization requires you to come to 2 conferences and you have to foot the bill both for that and to pay to be a member of the organization and to pay to attend the conference. I don't know, I'm sure it's great. I worry about you guys, especially being like minority students in like a field that's not catered towards you. But I hope whatever the outcome of this supports your guys' education and future. I yield.
Hi, welcome back. I feel like we funded this maybe last year. When you went through the budget process, beginning or like fall of last year, did you get any partial funding for any of these retreats that are required by?
I think by the time we had heard about the conferences, the budget process had already happened, so we actually don't think we have a line item. That's
How long have you been going to the conferences?
last year was the first.
It was the first year. Was that your first year being recognized at ASUO? But okay, sorry, wait, I didn't clarify. So you have to go to these conferences to be recognized with your like affiliation organization.
It's be an active chapter. In previous years, we haven't been an active chapter.
Oh, okay.
So last year I reinstated us as an active chapter. Now we're
Do you get like more benefits by becoming an active chapter?
yeah, working with like actually basically be able to that they offer like they have a lot of like webinars and online like this physician is talking like obviously through Zoom because it's a national organization like is one thing that they're having and then a lot of like opportunities to think about.
And then, sorry, last question. For this coming year, when you're submitting your budget, have you considered putting partial funding for either of these conferences?
Yes.
Okay.
Jenkins Systems.
Hi, and then for the, I just have a question with the members that are going to the board members, they all went to the conference last year?
Only 2 will be returning because board members last.
Okay. As someone that was helping write the financial or the Service Accessibility Committee, I'm in favor of this because it does fall under the funding guidelines that we have said. It's under the 12,000 maximum. And also I agree with Senator Bailey in the sense of like it's kind of crazy that they're kind of requiring you to go to this and still pay for it. So I'm gonna make the motion, but like we can get this. So I move to authorize spending from surplus to Peru Minority Association for Pre-Medical Students, OS number OS 207I in the amount of $11,500 to new line item name SNMA.
Second.
Motion made by Jenkins Hiscox, seconded by Stevenson. Discussion continues with Fisher.
I was going to make the motion. Thank you for doing that. I also just wanted to add that this is not the first time a group has come to surplus because they are like required to go to conferences, and that is something that if anyone was at the meeting we had like at the very, very beginning of summer, If you know what I'm talking about, we did talk about how groups are required to attend these things to be an active chapter. And it's not the first time it's happened, and I don't think it will be the last. That is all. Thank you. I yield.
Your sake, I'm probably going to vote yes on this, but I wanted to understand for the people who set that $12,000, is there not a per person difference? Like, well, I mean, for the people that have mentioned, like, oh, it's within the $12,000, like, is there a per person difference or no?
No, there is not a per person difference because we were working under the thought that if you could accomplish these guidelines within this amount, then the per person cost would be effective inherently.
Okay, thank you. I yield. Transportation costs would be it's so close to the center as well. Last thing we did is we just walked around the center and just ate where yeah, anyone there, anyone.
Did y'all like have? Is there any way you could get back to the group or did it only? That went.
Yeah, so we actually had a meeting afterwards, kind of like discussing what we learned at each workshop. I told each officer that like each workshop that you go to, like take notes and like collaborate on presentation.
Yeah, thank you for coming in. I'm gonna ask a question, and if it's already been answered, someone can feel free to say that's already been answered. But is it required for all of your leadership to go? So how come you chose specifically this number? Has already been answered. Okay, nice.
Like how did we choose specifically 7 members? Just because they're all the, and I asked like at the start of the year, like, hey, this is a trip that we went to last year. I know it's out of the week. Like if you're not comfortable, like let me know. You don't have to go. And they were like, okay, we're comfortable.
So if y'all were to bring fewer than 7 members, would you still be able to make it to all the workshops?
What do you think?
All the workshops that you're supposed to take notes at, is there like a specific schedule that makes it so that one person goes to each one and y'all have like different experiences, or is it all like everyone goes to each?
Yeah, so actually there's many more workshops and we're actually able to attend. Like there's a jobs every day. There's maybe
Then I assume y'all would each go to different workshops then and try to really maximize.
yeah, a lot of the officers we didn't talk about in workshops because there were so many different things that we wanted to see ourselves.
So there are specific benefits to having 7 people going. Okay, you'll.
Wrap some discussion.
Wondering if you had a.
It will, like, I won't say it will be within, West Coast region. I can pull up last year's budget and give you an estimate. Last year was at UC Davis in Sacramento, California. And that cost. I think they said they're announcing it this week. That was the seven students because we weren't able to do motor pool because it was so last minute. So we just used our personal vehicles and then did a personal reimbursement and just reimbursement.
Thank you.
Alright, we'll now move to vote. Starting with Senator Perez. Aye. Fisher. Aye. O'Neill.
Aye.
Taylor. Aye. Smith. Operative.
Aye.
Upperville. Jenkins Hiscox. Chisholm. Stevenson.
Aye.
Withers.
Aye.
Bailey.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Aye.
Say aye as well. You do it.
Yeah, I guess I just want to, address Senator Withers's question. I know that that wasn't specifically asked to be discussed, but I do think that it is something that's worthy to be mentioned. So the reason that I typically at least voted no on that first one and also didn't participate in the discussion is because, well, first off, there were really three reasons why. The first reason is already 11,000 is just a lot. Like, I agree with Senator Fisher's point that if they're meeting the parameters, there shouldn't be a per person amount. However, that is a lot. Second, it didn't have to do with their majors because they're saying, oh, this is for social sciences. You know, so social sciences majors can have these connections is what I got from the presentation. And that's just not something that I'm really willing to support. And third, because in their mission statement, and this is also not something that I can just whip out, but it's just about sustainable business, exploring sustainable business. And I think that's an oxymoron. And so I just don't agree with that personally. And that is why I did not speak on it, but I still absolutely voted nay. Yes, I yield.
So we're gonna start a whole new discussion. Technically, when we start a new discussion, we need to vote on whether or not we want to have this discussion. And so like this is on the agenda. So someone should make a motion and we need to vote on whether or not we're gonna have this discussion. Not part of the agenda. Very nice.
I would like to make the motion to continue this discussion.
Second, Bailey.
Motion made by Stevenson, seconded Bailey.
And I still have time, right?
Yes, you all still have time. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. We are gonna do roll call. Perez. Nay. Fisher.
Aye.
O'Neill.
Abstain.
Even if we only stand for a conflict of interest, are you sure you want to abstain?
Conflict of interest. I think other people should get heard out, but I want to leave.
Okay. Senator Taylor. No. Senator Smith. Opperman. Heffernan.
Nay.
Diether. Jenkins Hiscox.
Nay.
Chisholm. Stevenson. Aye. Withers.
Aye. Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Ludeman. Nay. 1, 2, 3.
I respect like the outcome of the vote, but I will say on regardless on any request, if you were voting yes or if you were voting no, you should have a reason for why you were voting that way. Even if we don't discuss it here, if an org approaches you out on campus and they ask, oh, you're in Senate, why did you vote that way? You should be able to have an answer. I think it's important to share why we vote certain ways, especially when it's not in the majority and you may have a perspective that other people don't share. Again, respect the vote, but just think about that.
And I just want to remind everyone, I'm just trying to facilitate a fair meeting. Things need to happen democratically. I sent out the parliamentary procedure and I'm adhering to that document on how I run these meetings. So this is not to silence everyone. Things have to happen democratically. So I'm just putting that out there. But they should on the agenda. Senator Lewis.
Can I just make a comment? I think it's like stupid that we have to vote to allow somebody to just speak. Like, I just wanted to say one thing, and I don't.
It's to like choose a new debate or like a topic of discussion essentially. Like you can make your comment. It's just that like have that continue as the discussion for the evening.
I mean, I asked my question earlier because I wanted to say like literally one thing. I feel like it's weird to have to have everybody vote for that. But to add on Aaron's point, I think it's really important not only to have your own reasoning for why you would vote no for a surplus request, but for the org to know why you voted no, because like they are going to walk out of the room and have no idea why you voted no if you didn't speak up in the conversation. And I think that's really unfair. I've never voted no on anything without explaining why. So I think it's just like for transparency and like to tell orgs that like maybe if they should change something, then you should tell them they should change it. I think that's just the best way to communicate with student organizations that we're working with. I think it's very unfair to try to deny them of something without explaining why. I yield.
I do think that's a valid point, but once again, when I'm facilitating, I'm just trying to protect minority opinions in the body, just because that's the job. So that is a valid point. No one else is on. So we'll move forward to updates now. Finance Committee update, starting with the Program Finance Committee, the Vice Chair, Senator Fisher.
Yeah, a little bit of an update. Yeah, PFC is hard at work having our tag meetings with our organizations. We're all like really tired and busy, and we still have like a week of this left. We also have we had a meeting today where we talked about that. But another thing that we voted for in our meeting today was another late stipend disbursement to go to Senate. So that'll be coming your guys' way in probably a few weeks once they make a surplus request. This is for the graduate evolutionary biology and ecology students. That's up to you guys to decide like how to vote on that. But that's something that we decided to move forward to Senate today. Budget hearings are going to start on the 27th of October and will be happening every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday until December or until we're done. So be really nice to us because we're gonna be like kind of miserable near the end of that. Additionally, like PCM is next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Lewis 282. Please show up if you want to. All the orgs are required to go, but there's gonna be free Hawaiian food. I believe our financial priorities are gonna be presented there. Yeah. And loosely. And there's gonna be a lot of cool speaking, and we're gonna go over some like tutorials on like how to do certain like financial elements. Additionally, I don't know. I have a question actually. Last year it was required for senators to like attend budget hearings. Is that going to be a requirement this year?
Yeah. I believe in the bylaws, yeah.
It is still. Okay, yeah. So you guys are going to be required to attend like a couple of those. So keep a lookout for that. That's my update. Thank you.
Vice Chair, Senator Taylor.
Not too much has changed since last week. Working on contacting, meeting with some of our service providers, and also started talks on our benchmark. On that, we are still working on our expansion to Portland. It's like more about that in the next few weeks.
EFC Chair, Senator Hopperhead.
Sorry, you looked at me and I was like, okay. Hey guys, so yeah, DFC, we sent out all the budget templates to our tags, and those are due this Sunday. So next week we will be meeting on Monday at 4 p.m. And kind of looking over all of those templates, and starting the prep for the budget hearings.
Thank you so much, Finance Chairs. I'm going to do Senate Executive Updates. Academic Chair Stevenson.
Hey y'all, not a lot has changed, but I didn't give an update last time. Thank you to Deputy Speaker Ludeman, Speaker Gill, and you and ASUO VP Ackerman for meeting with me. Coming together, trying to form like more of a gist on what AC is going to look like while we are continuously losing members. Shout out to the person actually filling a seat. Yeah, I will try and meet with Speaker Gill again at some point before next week to talk about some of the stuff within AC. And yeah, thank you so much. I yield.
Thank you, Ombudsperson Heffernan.
Nothing much. Hope Street Fair volunteering is fun. Those hours will count towards your office hours. Please don't sign in on the office hours sheet for when you're volunteering. Just sign in on the volunteer sheet. I will figure it out. And yeah, next week back to regular. Be at the office when you say you're going. Thank you. Oh yeah.
I don't think I have to do something.
Sorry.
For Tuesday volunteering, there wasn't like an official sign in and people still should I just email you when you volunteered on Tuesday?
Oh, there was a sheet when I volunteered on Tuesday.
She didn't get out until like 3 o'clock.
Oh, okay. Then I will act under the assumption that everyone did their volunteer hours before that time, and I'll just go off of to find out. I didn't know that.
And Treasurer Perez.
Nothing to report.
Deputy Speaker Lubin.
I'm just gonna give another little reminder about facility committee since that is rounding out. Like Senator Fisher said, we're meeting on Friday at 8 AM in person because we've been at any in-person meetings. It's kind of rounding out the document. If you want to show up, that would be great because we'd love to have these finalized by next Senate and not do like a bulk of the discussion within Senate. It'd be nice to talk about it a little bit more beforehand. And then by Friday, we should be able to send it out to you guys and have some time to look it over before then. If you're not able to make the meeting, feel free to inbox. Yes. Besides that, Speaker Gill sent out training, so make sure to look at that and make sure Senator Heffernan is going to send out a quiz this coming week about those. And yeah, love it. Street.
Pretty much touched on a lot of things I was going to touch on. Trainings are out. Please do those or read those closely, especially the parliamentary procedure one. I put a lot of effort into that one. Then, oh yeah, benchmarks are next week. So next, I will send out a document on what that will look like. The finance committees are a little bit more aware, but just so AC is aware of what the whole process will look like, and it'll officially be the kickoff to our big budget season. So that'll be very fun. Yes, and then I'll also be sending out a window me for some photos that we're gonna take, some headshots. So that'll be a great time.
Hello, everyone. Keep volunteering for the street fair, and we hope you are enjoying the street fair. Let's talk about the street fair. So am I. Interviews for Senate positions are going on. All of those are up now. So if you know someone who wants to be a senator, send them those things. And then if you have questions about the hiring process, talk to Daphne or Priscilla or myself. And then this is kind of slightly not secular, but there is an event happening on Sunday, this Sunday at 12 to 2 called the People's Guide. It talks about the history of the school. It is often not talked about. It is done by a student. I am biased. The student is my roommate, but it is really, really interesting and a lot of oops, yes, I will send the flyer in the chat. And I think that flyer was made by so awesome. Also, last thing, wash your hands. People are sick. Exactly. I'm sorry.
Senator Withers.
Hello, everybody. I thought I owed everybody to the respect of speaking about this in person, but I am resigning. Sorry. My last meeting will be October 29th. I do not want to leave without any notice because I know that we're losing people really quickly and I wanted to give Senate the time to at least start the process to fill my seat. I think I was gonna cry. This is really hard for me. I love this job. Holy shit, I didn't cry. Sorry, everybody. I love ASUO so much. I've spent the last 2.5 years committing like so much of my time to this organization. I'm very proud of the work that I've done in it, but I have like way committed myself this year, and I realized I simply cannot keep doing it. And this is the thing that I decided is the best to let go of for me. I wanted to stay to like help facilitate the transition, and I have a lot of faith in this Senate. Like, I think that you guys are doing really well. And then I was like gonna try to find time when it's easy to resign, but like there's never gonna be a time when I'm like not doing something. So I thought I just had to do it now. This is not related to last week's resignation. Senator Lopez Jabov. This is purely by my own volition. I have a lot of respect for everybody here. I think that I'm so proud of everybody and I love what we're doing, and I'm like, the Senate is like great. Like I truly am happy with the way this is going. Yeah, this is not an easy decision for me, but it's what's best for me, and with the amount of like with my lack of capacity, I've really stepped down in my ability to serve in my role as well as I have previously, and like I've not been meeting my own standards for myself, and I think that somebody else could fill my role and have the time and emotional capacity to do what each person in their role should be doing. Yeah, that's it. So I'll be here for 2 more weeks, I guess. Yeah. Thank you.
Hopefully appreciate your voice and your input. Very sad to see you go. But thank you for letting us know. And then next on the agenda, we have the approval of the minutes. We got both the minutes from October 1st and October 8th on here. We can approve them in one motion.
From October 1st and October
8th. Motion made by Ludeman, seconded by Perez. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. And the minutes are approved. Lastly, we have our adjournment. Motion made by Ludeman, seconded by Stevenson. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Great night, everyone.